We want to go ahead and start off with a div, and then within that div, we want to have an H1 element where we say order. And then we're going to create one more div with a class equal to order. Then within this div, we're going to create our form element. Here, we want to create another div, create a class within this div equal to form1, and this will let us know that it's going to be our first div. Let's create two more divs within here, and then we'll just copy and paste this down below. Then within the first one, we're going to go ahead and create an H3 and just say Alvin's Pizzeria. Copy and paste this H3, and from my design, I'm going to go ahead and take the address that we have and just paste it right into here from Adobe XD. Create two more divs to have a successful layout here. So again, we're just going to copy and paste. Here is where we're going to create our input, and this is going to be a radio button. So to specify this, we want to change our type attribute equal to radio. Change the ID to pickup. Change our name attribute equal to pick. Give this a value of 1 in case we want to manipulate this later with PHP or JavaScript. And now we need to create a label for this element, and we're just going to call this pickup, and this is going to be for our pickup. So basically we're binding our label with our input element based on our pickup ID up here. Go ahead and copy and paste this. So we're going to copy our input here and then paste it. Change our ID here to dine in, and then we're going to repeat this down here where it says 4. So we're going to have two radio options here, and you're only going to be able to select one because our name attributes are the same thing. So it only lets you select one. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Only lets us select one, and then we need to change our text here as well. So we're going to change this from pickup to dine in. This last div is simply going to have an H3 heading that says order details. HR element to add that line between, and this is going to have a class called form HR. And then once we go down here, we're going to create another div, and this div is going to have the class equal to form input. And we're going to specify an H3 that says info. Create a div. Inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and add my input and label elements. So to save some time, I added the labels and inputs, and you're going to notice that I put the labels first this time because I want them to be displayed before our input. And this input is a text which will allow you to type in numbers or letters. And then our ID for each one is name. And then what we need to do is actually get rid of this because we're just going to leave this as name in general. So it's not for first name. And then we're going to add placeholder text. And then we're going to have an email, and the type of this is going to be email with a sample email. And then for our phone, what we're going to do is change the type to TEL. And then we're actually going to add a pattern within our HTML that's going to look for a pattern of a standard phone number like this. So let's go ahead and hit save and take a look at that real quick and see how it's going to display on our page. So as you guys can see, we have our labels, then we have our placeholder text, and once we type, it goes away. And then same thing for our email and phone number fields here. And you guys can see that our HR element is displaying. Type in the rest of my code here so you guys can see what's going on. And then I'm just gonna paste this, and we're gonna have card holder name, card holder address, card number, CVV, for basically the security code of the card number. If you guys want to see more in depth about forms, I'll leave a link down below to a video where I go more in depth. And then of course we want to take our HR element here, copy and paste this down below. But basically I'm not changing anything from what we just did above. I'm just changing the IDs and the names. And then anywhere I want you to be able to put numbers and characters, I'll change it to text. And if I want you to be able to put only numbers, I'll change the type to numbers. And then I'll also put the placeholders. And lastly, we're going to create one more div. And this is going to house our submit and cancel button. So we're going to add a class equal to form button like so. And then we're going to add two button elements, and I'm going to go ahead and make this cancel, and I'm going to make the type equal to reset and the value equal to reset. Copy this and paste it down below. Change this equal to submit, change this to submit, and then change my value to submit. So basically, we don't have this actually going anywhere. If you want to see how you can validate this with JavaScript and or PHP, I have videos about all of that. There'll be links down below, and we will be coming back to this and adding more functionality and making it completely dynamic in another video. But for now, what this is going to allow you to do is reset your form by clicking this cancel button, or submit, not really because it's not going anywhere, but it'll still, you know, let you test it out. Now we'll go ahead and hit save, take a look at this. It's not going to be styled at all, so it's going to be ugly, but we do have all the structure of our form set up and ready to go. So now what we want to do is go back to styles, navigate all the way to the bottom of your style sheet here, and we're going to start adding those form styles. And again, we're going to add a comment that says form, so we know these are our form styles. And we're going to start right off with our form element, change the color equal to white, change our width to 80%, and we also want to change our background color to our dark gray color, change our padding to 1.5 rem so we can have proper spacing, use our border radius of 0.5 rem to change our margin to automatic to center all of this. Overwrite our last style here with margin bottom, which will only change the bottom margin from auto, and we want that to be 2 rem instead. You can use the shorthand property right here within margin, or you can overwrite just single styles down below like I'm doing here. And then for our first form class here, what we're going to do is target form 1. We're going to change this display to grid, and then we're just going to go up here and copy this style, but instead of using 1, we're going to want 2 columns here. Now we want to target our form HR elements, change our border color, because we have to use border color to change the color of an HR element. Make our width 100%, followed by a margin of 1.5 rem and 0. Change our form input div, and what we're going to do here is we're going to change our display to flex. Flex is going to make everything go in a line from left to right, but if you change the flex direction to column, it's going to go based on your vertical axis instead of the standard, which is going to be on the horizontal. So this is going to put it in a column layout. Change our form input, and we want to target all of the inputs within. Add a padding of 0.5 rem. Our margin bottom is also going to be 0.5 rem, and our border radius will follow the standard 0.5 rem. Target our form buttons here with our class. We're going to change the display to flex, justify our content to the center, and if we don't specify a flex direction, it's automatically going to be set to row. Select the individual form buttons by using our class, followed by our button element selector. Change the padding to 0.5 rem top and bottom, 2 rem left and right. Our background color to be red again. Change our color to white. Our border none. Our border radius to 1.5 rems. Our font size to 1.5 rem. Align self each one of these to the center, and then just to give a little space, we want to add a margin of 1 rem. So now let's take a look at this, and our form should be completely done and ready to go. We're not using JavaScript or anything yet, so it should be okay, and we're not sending this anywhere, so it'll let you hit submit, and it'll basically let you test out just for now if your HTML form is working. Tap here to see what happens next.